Well, we are continuing our series this morning, our month-long series called Light of the World. And we've talked all month how we hear that phrase in the Bible as a description of the man Jesus. But not only was the phrase, I am the light, it was you are the light. So his message was really that we are, all of us, sons and daughters of the Most High God, we are the light. And our first week we talked about how we could be the light and ways that we could practice that in our lives. And then last week we talked about how to see the light in others. Now I hope you needed your sunglasses this week, yes? All of you that were here last week got your little glasses. And I hope your world was lit up. Mine certainly was. Today we are going to talk about belief though. And my title is I Believe. I Believe. Penny's shirt is I Believe. Stand up. Let me see your shirt. Got to see your shirt. Penny's my favorite prop. She wears her lights when we talk about lights. She wears I Believe when we talk about I Believe. So that's perfect. So this time of year, this ending time of year, and season can be mystical and magical. We have Santa Claus. We have elves. We have flying reindeer. We have dancing snowmen, right? And we also have the winter solstice, that time of recognizing the shortest day of the year and the return of the light and that celebration of knowing that light is coming back. It's also a time of nativity, a time of virgin births. And there's more than one story about that, yes. It's a time of anticipation of that brand new baby year that's coming up, a completion and closure of this one, and I get another one to start over and maybe set some new goals for, right? There's that anticipation of the newness of it all. And as I've thought about these traditions this week, I've thought about my own beliefs and what I believe and really played with that a little bit. And I came with two ideas within the science of mind that we teach that I want to talk about this morning. And one is obviously our idea of affirmative prayer. That's powerful in our movement, in our new thought, this idea of affirmative prayer treatment. And the other idea that goes right along with it, I think meshes completely with it, is the idea of it is done unto us as we believe. It is done unto us as we believe. And I think those are two core things with our teaching, and I want to explore those from the idea of what do we believe? What do we believe? Ernest Holmes, the author of the Science of Mind text that we study and the founder of this teaching, he says that the law of our life reacts to our spiritual or material concepts and builds and rebuilds according to our belief and our faith. According to our belief and our faith. Well, you heard in the beginning of service, I run through that whole laundry list of ways to participate in affirmative prayer in our community. We have our prayer practitioners available every Sunday for you. We have written prayer requests in the back. We have our World Ministry of Prayer that is supported by Centers for Spiritual Living International that you can call anytime for a prayer request. So we are big believers in affirmative prayer in our communities. And the method of prayer that we use is not one of beseeching or asking a reluctant God to please give me something, I promise I'll be good, and that barter idea. It is one of affirmation and stating truth. And it's the science part of science of mind, frankly, because it's got a process. It's repeatable by anybody, and it works. And that's kind of the scientific method, isn't it? It has to be a process that can be repeated by anybody to get the same results, and it works. There are results. So we say it's scientific. However, when you pray, do you hope it comes true? Is it kind of like wishing on your birthday candles? Please! Is it kind of like that? Or is it actually that knowingness of, I am stating my truth, speaking my word powerfully into the action of universal law, and allowing that to come through me? Allowing myself to be that channel, to be that avenue through which Spirit works. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Do you accept in that moment of prayer? In that moment of prayer, do you accept its manifestation? Do you believe it? Do you believe it? The Science of Mind tells us that the answer is contained in the prayer. And if you think about prayer, we're speaking our truth. But is there a voice in your head that's going, yeah, right? I hope. I wish. Maybe. That's the beauty of our prayer practitioners, because they know. They know for us the truth of us. They will know that in their own minds, and that's all they do. They can do nothing for you except know in their own minds the truth of who you are, of what it is you seek to manifest in your life, and they know that truth. They know that possibility. They know that revelation. They know that is a happened thing already, and they know that for you. But until you know it, you can't experience it, right? So that's where we have to work together to get ourselves to that place of knowing like when you turn on a light switch and you just expect the lights to come on, right? Or like you know that the sun is going to set in the west tonight, don't you? You just know that. You don't have to think about it. When we can get ourselves to that place and eliminate the doubt that we sometimes have in our prayers, that's when we'll begin to see the manifestations of those prayers. It is done unto us as we believe. As we believe. As I said, we do not have to convince a reluctant God to give. Spirit is always giving. It's kind of like the Matrix, right? It's always there, and it's just up to us whether we are going to receive or not. But if we don't understand that, believe that, know that, we can't see it. We can't see it. We have to convince ourselves. We have to convince ourselves to receive, not God to give. We have to convince ourselves to receive. Am I worthy? Anybody ever had that thought? Am I worthy? Am I worthy of the relationship? Am I worthy of the career? Am I worthy of the new job? Am I worthy of better health? Have I allowed enough time to pass for this to come into my life? Well, I have a cold, and a cold normally takes 10 days, so I need to have 10 days to get well. Do we ever have those thoughts of how long something has to take? And how long it is for Mr. or Mrs. Right to show up in our life, or how long for the callback on the job application that we've put in, how long to receive healing, how long to have that financial wealth and abundance that we say that we want. How much time has to pass? How much time? Do I believe in suffering? Do I believe I've suffered enough? Have I worked hard enough to deserve and earn what I think I want? Right? I mean, these are things that we all think about. It's according to my own beliefs. These are the things that we believe on time, on worthiness. These are the things, and that's our perspective. That's our perception. That's our belief through which we filter life. Am I worthy? Have I suffered enough? And has enough time passed? Has enough time passed? From his book, This Thing Called You. It's a wonderful book if you've not read it. About this big, but jam-packed. He says the barriers between you and your greater good are not barriers in themselves. They are things of thought. They are things of thought. And it is because of this that all things are possible in faith. And he says it's summed up by Jesus when he said, it is done unto us as we believe. It is done as we believe. So he's telling us that the only thing between us and our good is our thinking. The only thing between us and our good is our thinking. As we believe. As we believe. And he says that it is not reality that you must change, but your mental reaction to it. Yeah, right. Right? Well, let's think about that. Because not everybody on the planet is not well. Not everybody on the planet is struggling financially. Not everybody on the planet is alone. You see where I'm going? Reality is okay. It's our individualized thinking about how that creates those barriers for us of having those things that are in our heart that we desire to see made manifest in our life. It's our thinking. It's those perceptions, those perspectives that we've created, those beliefs that we've created. So if there's something that we're trying to make manifest in our life, I don't know about you, but when I sit down and start digging on what's going on with this, why is it not showing up? That's when I can begin to uncover some of those beliefs and begin to see them come up, those long-held ideas and thinking and patterns and tendency of my thought. And sometimes I can also get fortunate enough to even catch myself in a moment of frustration and catch that thought of negativity that goes, oh, there it is. There it is. And if it's in my conscious awareness, don't you know it's running my unconscious too, my subconscious? Sure. So that's how we bring it to the light and heal it. Bring it to the light and heal it. Look at that. Okay, I see that, and now I need to do my work around it. So when we talk about the idea of good and bad, these are just labels, right? The way we categorize things. We put them into buckets. It's how we sort and sift life. But when we see something as negative or bad, isn't it just my lens that I'm looking at it that way? Like everybody might not see it that way? Remember last week my rose-colored glasses or my Jill-colored glasses that we all look through our own individualized lens, and what I call good, somebody else might think that's just the awful. And vice versa, right? Vice versa. There's a Zen saying, now that my house has burned down, I have a better view of the sky. Yeah. And this reminds me of an Alan Cohen story from his book, A Deep Breath of Life. Remember the fires they had in L.A., San Diego, wildfires several years ago? They were pretty devastating, got into the city, actually. And he says that he received a letter from a successful Los Angeles artist who wrote, during the recent fires, my house was leveled, along with my entire collection of paintings. He was surprised by the next line. Now I am free. Now I am free. And I am moving to the island of Kauai, where I will fulfill my lifelong dream of leading wilderness adventures. Wow. Talk about seeing the good. Talk about seeing the good. Now, I'm not suggesting that this individual created the fires, attracted the fires to their house, any of that. But I will suggest to you that the tendency of their thinking, their underlying subconscious, was how miserable and how much in bondage they were to their career and living in the Los Angeles area. And that was the subconscious. But they couldn't find the courage to step out of it. They couldn't find a way. They couldn't see a light. They couldn't understand. And when the universe had the opportunity to lend a hand, maybe it did, right? Maybe it did. Now, in the moment, as that artist is standing there watching their home go up in flames, all of their possessions, including their art, they were not thinking, I would bet, about going to Kauai in that moment, right? They were pretty devastated. Those moments are painful. They're distressing. They hurt. They're devastating. They're devastating. And yet, when we can move ourselves to that place of remembering God is perfection, God is all, we know there's a pony in there someplace, right? We know there's a pony in there someplace. Another example, I have a friend who is a physician, also in the Los Angeles areas. If you live in Los Angeles, you might want to get out of there, but she was an emergency room physician, still is, and a person came in that was in distress and was fighting him on the table, and they had a sedative they were trying to give him, and it went in his arm, the needle did, and he grabbed it out of his arm and stabbed her. He was HIV positive. Yeah, that was her reaction, right? And not in that moment, but shortly thereafter, she said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want to spend my days here. They picked up and left Los Angeles and moved to Crested Butte, Colorado, where she became the town doctor, which was always a lifelong, again, dream of hers. She never got HIV, blessings on that, and is still practicing medicine today. But it's those kinds of moments in our life, my goodness, your reaction just to hearing a story. Imagine if it happened to you. And I know many of us have things in our life now that are devastating, that are in our face, that are painful, that are transformative. And I encourage you to step back, take a breath, and know that this too is God. This too is Source. This too is looking at Spirit as opportunity, looking at these events and situations as opportunity instead of curse. Opportunity instead of curse. I know that all of us have had situations in our life over time that we can today look back on and go, wow, I learned a lot, I gained a lot. If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here. That wouldn't have happened. And we can see those stepping stones, can't we, when we look back. But again, being in it now, today, in the moment, it's really hard. It's really hard. And if you have that thing happening in your life, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out, and my higher wisdom knows the truth. The truth. God revealed His opportunity rather than curse. Opportunity. So prayer treatment is a powerful tool in our teaching. And again, it's not beseeching or begging. It is stating our affirmative truth and placing it into the law until we believe it. Until we believe it. That's that power of affirmations that we talked about with our Catherine Ponder work. We speak it until we believe it, until we actually get it at that basic level. And I can tell you that they work. They have worked in my life. I have transformed many situations and ways of being through the power of affirmation until I can believe I can be different. Until I can believe I can be different. Holmes tells us that the treatment, when he's talking about treatment, that it should be concrete, specific, conscious, definite, and embodying the general ideas. Now, when you hear those first words, you begin to think, okay, I need to outline every single thing here it's like a checklist, right? But then he says it's the general ideas that we desire. So if you're seeking love in your life, it's not specific person, it's love, right? It's love. It might be another human being. It might be a familial relationship. It might be an animal or pet. It might be a child. It might be a community. But love is the idea. Success rather than that particular job is the avenue of my success. That's what he's talking about. It needs to be concrete and specific from the standpoint of what it is that God quality feeling that you're seeking to feel in your life and experience in your life, but not the specifics of it. the broader view, the broader view. He teaches us within our ideas on treatment the importance of faith, conviction, and acceptance. Faith, conviction, and acceptance. And he says it must be measured out to us according to our own measuring. Now that's kind of one of those mystical, biblical kind of sayings, isn't it? But what he's really saying is that you can only receive what you're willing to receive. If you don't believe you can receive it, can you receive it? Nope. Right? Yeah, exactly. No. If we don't believe we can, we're right. We're right. That's the beauty of this teaching. Doesn't work. You're right. Right? Yeah. So we have to be willing to receive faith, conviction, and acceptance that the prayer is already answered. Are you surprised when it happens? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it happened. Out of the blue. We have these figures of speech all the time, don't we? And yet, when we're grounded and anchored in knowing that, we turn on the light. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the lights came on. Well, I've had moments about that, but in general, are you surprised when your demonstrations happen, when your prayers are made manifest? I could read those manifested prayers in that prayer box and ask, was this a surprise? Or did you know it was going to happen? Did you know it at the deepest levels of your being? So the quality and the level of our belief demonstrates to the extent of our blessings. So again, it's that outpicturing in our life, looking around our life, tells us what we believe inside. If something's not there, or if something is there, perhaps, it's telling us what our beliefs are. Living from the inside out. Living from the inside out. So if we believe just a little, that's what's going to happen, right? Just a little. If we believe a lot, I think it was Holmes that said, do we go to spirit with a thimble or a bathtub? You know, how much can we believe? Jesus was a great example of this in this time in the evolution thing, because he didn't believe in time. He just said, nope, done right now. There was no necessity for time with him. Oh, I'll have to work and pray and treat on this for about 3 months or 6 months, and then maybe I can raise Lazarus. No, get up, right? He didn't have those beliefs that we have. He didn't have those beliefs. Kind of feel like Capital One. What's in your wallet? What do you believe? What's in your heart? What's in your mind? What do you believe? What do you believe? So I want to move today into our practicing the principles and talk a little bit more about these. Our first one is, it is done unto you as you believe. That's one of our basic things we're talking about today. And Holmes says that the most important word in this phrase is as. 2 little letters, as. It is done unto us as we believe. We set the course. We set the course. We must come to the realization about what we believe. Because if life's not turning out the way we want it to, could it be something that we have a belief around? It's a possibility. What do you believe about God? About your life? Spend some time in the silence this week. Journal your thoughts. Do you believe in God? Is it a God within? Or is it the parental God that's outside of us, that's judging, condemning, moody? Do you have a relationship with the source of your very being? Is it the beloved, or is it the taskmaster? Do you have a relationship? Does prayer even work? Does prayer even work? These are all beliefs, aren't they? We can ask ourselves these powerful questions and see what comes up and begin to sift through and filter through perhaps some of our beliefs that we don't even know we have. I don't know about you, but I've been surprised. I've been surprised in my life to go, wow, did I just say that, think that? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. So spending time in the silence with a pen and a piece of paper can definitely help pull that forward for us. So my question for you today, what is the as in your life that's showing up as a result of your beliefs? What is the as? Number 2, affirmative prayer. If you pray, if you do use our affirmative prayer, pay attention when you're praying. Whether or not there's a wish or a hope, or if you really have that knowingness, if you really believe it. And that's why we repeat prayers. That's why we repeat affirmations. We keep doing it until we believe it at that core level. Yes, that is true. Yes, that is true. Feeling of faith, conviction, and acceptance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Holmes always said, a lot of us say, well, gee, I hope it comes through. After, and so it is. I release, I let it go, and so it is. I hope so. See if that comes up in your prayer treatment work. And if you're not someone that prays, if you're not someone that it takes advantage of affirmative prayer, 2 things. Have a prayer with Miss Lori this morning after service. Pick up one of these. These are flyers that we've made up for the community on affirmative prayer treatment. In it, you have the 5 steps of our prayer, the process, if you will, the 5 steps written out and explained. You then have an example of an affirmative prayer written here that you can see how they all fit together. You then have a space to write your own prayer, your own affirmative prayer this week. Read it daily. Read it daily and see what happens. These are available to everyone. They're on the back table. They're also out in the lobby. On the back is our creative process, our teaching symbol. So it's a handy little reference. And I have a shameless plug for our foundation class as well. We're teaching foundations starting the first of the month. We've got 11 weeks of the basics of science of mind and an all-day workshop on prayer treatment where we dive in deeply to each and every step of it, what it is, how it works, in addition to practicing that throughout the other 10 weeks of the class. So I invite you, if you have an interest in changing your life, take this foundation class with us. Come play with us. Our third point this morning is daily spiritual practice. Y'all hear about this every week. I know, I'm a broken record, but it works. Remember my story last week about the grocery store and all my adventures there? I would not have had that experience had I not been in a centered place. It would have been a much different experience. So having that daily practice of some sort, whatever it is that serves you, if it's a prayer, if it's just a few moments being still in the silence, if it's reading, if it's journaling, whatever it might be, find something that you can do every day to get yourself centered and grounded in the one, remembering your own light, your own wholeness. It is the key to successful living. It truly is. So as we head into the holiday week leading up to Christmas and Hanukkah, Hanukkah's on Sunday, on Christmas Day this year, which is unusual timing. But as we head into those, I invite you to join me in being the light and seeing the light of the season. See the light in this season. I'll close today with a verse from Mark, the book of Mark, where Jesus just simply says, everything is possible if you believe. You can't get much more basic than that. Everything, not everything, but everything is possible if you believe. And I believe in you and your ability to be the consciousness through which Spirit flows to manifest whatever it is you have on your heart. Whatever it is, from world peace to love of all people to joy, or to any of the material things that just make life a little more comfortable. I believe in you. So I would invite you to join me now as we go into prayer this morning to anchor this in an affirmative prayer treatment. How good it is to recognize that there is only one life, one presence, one source of all that is. It is the power and the presence of the universe. It is spirit, it is essence and presence, it is love, peace, it is harmony. It is God. And all of it is here now present in, through, and as me, as an individualized representation of it. For I am spirit in form, as is each and every person in this room within the sound of my voice. We are individualized and unique representations of the one, not separate from, united as. And from this place of knowing this absolute truth, I speak my word for and about each one of us, claiming the abundant expression of Spirit through us, claiming that open consciousness that we are, that Spirit flows through for greater expression of itself, for greater creativity, greater joy, greater love, more light. As I know we've all tossed off the baskets covering our light, and we allow it to shine and illumine our planet this season and into the coming year. We place our lights high on the lampstand to illuminate a world that works for all. And I know for anyone that has anything on their heart this day that they're seeking prayer treatment around, we hold that knowing the truth of its manifestation already in form for them. Whether it's health, prosperity, career, relationship, or just a deeper walk with the divine. We know that that is the truth. So how grateful I am for the manifestation of this prayer, for this teaching, for the wisdom. As I just release this into the action of law, knowing that it is done, it is so, and we affirm this together by saying, and so it is.